Hello and welcome, military spouse creative community. I'm really excited about today's interview. We have Lindsey Germono here with us today. She is the founder of Germono Advertising Agency and creator of Drop and Give Me 20 podcast, which is an absolutely amazing podcast. So make sure you go over and follow it on iTunes. Girl, I'm excited. We've been needing to get together for a long time. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Good. Well, girl, I know a lot of our community already knows a lot about you because you're so invested and you're so visible online. But I feel like there's stuff that we don't know. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what your mission is. Tell us about your business, which is all good stuff going on, and let us know all the goodies.
Thank you. Well, as Moni said, I'm Lindsey Germono, and I'm founder, owner, whatever you want to call yourself when you own a business, of Germono Advertising Company, and we are headquartered in Norfolk, Virginia. So I don't know who is watching this, but if you are in Norfolk, can you just holler at me? I love Norfolk. I love Hampton Roads. It's where I'm born and raised, and I have just such an affinity for that area. I also created, as Moni mentioned, a podcast. This was, almost a year and a half or almost 2 years ago. And that podcast is called Drop and Give Me 20. So the podcast is very similar to this format where I interview successful military entrepreneurs, but I don't just focus on military spouse business owners. I also focus on active duty and veteran-owned businesses as well. It just so happens that in our community, a lot of military spouses, will gravitate to each other. So let's see what else. I love dogs, bull mastiffs. If you are also a bull mastiff fan, can you just like this, comment, whatever, connect with me. I'm obsessed. And if you're lucky, mine will come and make an appearance. She's currently sleeping right now, so she's a little busy. Yeah. And let's see. Oh, so I hail from television advertising. So television advertising is my background. I actually worked in broadcast television and then cable advertising. And then I decided to create my own company and my own agency, which has been very exciting. And so we are 4 years old. A lot has changed, a lot of adapting and, looking for being open to whatever you're being directed in. So, so that's a little bit about me, and I'm very excited again to be here. So thank you, Moni.
That's exciting. Tell me a little bit about how'd you get into to TV? How'd you get into that? Is that something you studied in school, or was it accidentally fall into your lap? Tell us a little bit about that.
I have to think back. It feels like so long ago. Well, I was looking for a job, and I think I was waiting tables at the time. I had a degree. My degree was in communications, which is pretty much just the most general thing.
Right.
And I was I'll just major in communications because I knew I really liked communicating, and I was very interested in business, marketing, advertising, but I just wasn't good in math. So it was the only track.
Marketing is
But it's weird now. I was telling somebody earlier, I was I do a lot of analytical stuff. So I guess there I go. But
repetitive over time, you just got really good at it, right?
I just feel I need to do that. I need to be good at, especially studying analytics and behavioral aspects of marketing and advertising. So I just dove in and I bit the bullet, and I was I'm just going to figure this stuff out. So, so I started the agency really because a lot of small businesses were gravitating towards me, and they were hey, look, we can't afford a television campaign, but can you help us out with, some of these other things? And some of the other things ended up being a lot of social media. And so I really take an educational approach to that because I want to equip the business owners with that knowledge so that they can operate their own social media. By the time they send me a photo, the event has already happened. It's let me just tell you what to do when you're at that event so that you can do it on at that moment. So we do a lot of education when it comes to growing businesses. A lot of people don't have a budget for traditional media, or they do, but they need to handle their social media. So I just kind of started focusing on that, and my team operates remotely. I really do advocate for military spouses, especially in a career path. So I try to make sure they know when an opportunity is available at Germono Advertising Company for an opportunity. And so I'm very proud to say that I've had the most amazing, successful people work for me, and it has been such joy. It brings such joy to me to be able to do that, because they can carry this position wherever they PCS.
That's amazing. And that's what makes your company and like my company and so many military spouses listening to this so unique and so versatile. And I love it because we can work anywhere. We're like chameleons. We can basically do anything. I mean, we will learn how to do it as military spouses. We get it done. I love hearing about how you take an educational approach to social media. And I'm in PR, so I totally get it. I'm like a nerd reader. Like, my husband's like, what are you reading? I'm like, I'm reading an article about this new social media, analytics, or some new ways to implement PR, whatever. So I think that a lot of times we don't educate ourselves. We figure everybody else is doing, so I just need to do it. And I think especially in this small space of military spouses who have businesses, it's very important to understand why you're doing it, right? Not just put stuff out there because you see everybody else putting quotes. Well, why are you putting quotes? That doesn't even apply to your business. Who was I talking to? I was just talking to somebody. I said, a content is nothing without an editorial, because you don't know why you're even putting the content out there. Like, what is the purpose for posting that on Monday?
But you and I understand this language. And so a business owner who maybe makes, I don't know, maybe she or he is a military spouse that's into creating custom mugs, right? Mm-hmm. So marketing and advertising is not why they went in business. And so when you say things like an editorial calendar, when I say social media, they're very apprehensive because it's more time and energy than they have already. Mm-hmm. Two, it's not something that they enjoy or they find fun in. We hear people say all the time, well, I don't use Facebook. And I'm like, yeah, but your customers do, or your target audience does. Yes. And we just try to make that more fun for them. Like, you should absolutely have fun in your marketing and advertising, especially when it comes to social media. I don't know where along the way something happened and we just all see marketing and advertising as this like burden that we can't have fun with. You can absolutely, there's so many apps now that you can, I found one the other day and it will add like sparkles to your video. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I just
get look good at 9:00 in the morning.
I mean, and I get it too, because like I don't love my accounting. It frustrates me. It's like speaking a different language. Mm-hmm. But I find people, to help me with that, and that will also get me excited about it. And now I'm excited about seeing those numbers increase. So I just feel like that's the same way. We use language that some of your business owners might not, they're like, I don't know what that means. And so we really just wear that educational hat and try and show them what that looks like.
Yeah. And you hit the nail on the head. You're like, educate. And on top of that, I think people get inundated with so much social media, and then they feel like they got to do everything, which is why they don't want to do it. So I want to back up a little bit. Where's your military background? Are you Air Force, Navy, Marine? Tell us a little bit about your story.
Yeah, so we're Air Force, and we met in, I guess he was at Langley at the time.
I've been there.
That's home for me, so I'm very passionate about that area. And then we got stationed. So 4 months into launching my agency, we got orders, and that was a complete surprise. I had no idea. No. And I had 8 weeks to PCS. It was my first time PCSing. I'm like a brand new business owner, and I'm like, wait, what? No. But I think I just kind of framed it in a manner that I heard you talk about this on the podcast with Megan, like my family buys into my goals as well. Yes, there are things that I can't control. Would I love a brick and mortar and have everybody come in and like have coffee and have it be this Google Hangout and all this stuff? Yeah. Absolutely, right? Sure, that would be awesome. But that's not realistic. And I talk a lot about that in my discussions and my speaking engagements. I travel all over to do that. And I think as, military spouses, you really have to look at, yes, I want to do all the things. Right? I want to be everywhere. I want to do all the things. I want to be successful. I want to be like Moni. I want to be like Lindsey. Whatever that it is, right? We have this like identity crisis all the time, but I can't tell you your reality, right? And just like my reality is completely different from everyone else's. And so what I really like about Moni, your community, is that you have this just all sense of support, right? So yes, we talk a lot about competition because there's people who do what we do in our space, right? But we can't do it all. So like if I have somebody who needs PR, I'm going to call Moni because I know and I trust her and I know she's going to do a really great job. So I think that like the businesses that are coming in that are in marketing and advertising that are, you are in a military spouse environment. I went totally down a rabbit hole with this, but anyway, when you go
it's okay.
When you go to new base,
we do whatever we want.
Yeah, but when you go, like when we got our orders, like I was completely, of course I was completely thrown, and I was like, how am I going to do this? And what I did was I started tapping into meeting people at my base. I kept my connections that I was, really close with back home, and I didn't see it yes, it was very hard, but I was very realistic in like what this could look like for me. And so I tried to convey that to as many military spouses as possible. I'm like, your reality, no one knows what life is like at 6 p.m. at your house, like I know. And I was going to ask you if we were going to have wine because I didn't know if it was wine time for you yet. So.
It's 3:30 for me.
Oh.
I usually, I have wine usually. I shut up. I never shut up. But
no, you don't.
But I shut down at 5, and that's just a boundary I really had to implement in the last year because I was so bad at it. But yeah, no, I will have wine at 5 o'clock though. I'll start.
I will say, so here's a cool thing. I don't shut down at 5, but if there have been days at 10 a.m. that I am strolling around Target with my Starbucks, doing my shopping, doing my errands, getting my groceries, I can do that stuff. So my reality looks very different. I love doing that stuff during the daytime. And then when I come home, I'm more of a night owl anyway, and I'm much more productive that way. I work Saturdays and Sundays. I don't mind it though. It's what I love to do. It's just like somebody who loves to run. I don't love to run. I don't understand. Yeah. Like cool. But I love my business so much that like, I don't see it as a burden, and when you're a military spouse, your life looks very different from others. So just,
it does.
And it took me a lot, I have help. I have really great people to coach me, to mentor me. And I think it was like around year 2 that I was like, gosh, I just feel like I'm working so hard. And it was Kathy Stoddard-Torrey. She was like, well, what are you comparing that to? And I'm like, well, I never take off. Like a week when I took off for the other company, she's like, you're not working for another company anymore, silly. Like, this is your reality. And I was like, oh, you're right. And now I can work wherever I have Wi-Fi. When you travel, like that's some awesome stuff.
Wi-Fi in my brain and we're good. Like I'm good. I can make anything happen.
I took a space aid to Rota, Spain last year.
I love that.
My husband was deployed. He went, I dropped him off at the airport. I had an interview that day. Now I could have rescheduled that, but my business is my business, right? And like, I cried, and then I went to the interview, and it was, I can definitely tell that I had, some emotions going on, but you just make it happen, right? And you have that grit, and you just get it done. Like, there's so many excuses I think that people fly around back and forth, but finding your reality and what that looks like for you is very different than mine or Moni's or whoever that it is.
Yeah, I love that. And you portray that a lot on social media, and I love that. Is that part, just your visibility and your lifestyle and what's hard and what's easy and hiring a team member, and you share a lot of that, and I think that that's invaluable because a lot of people don't want to share those kind of vulnerable moments. And I love that about your brand because that's what builds your brand. And that's what I tell my clients all the time, like, share what you're going through because people respect that and they want to become part of that journey and they fall in love with who you are. So you're on point with your social media. Like, you got it all down packed. And I know that as military spouses in a space where we are all, like you said, competing in some way or another, give us, you went to the social media thing. So for those of you who weren't here when we were talking earlier, you went to social media, Examiner.
It's a lot to say. So I went to the Social Media Examiner conference that they have every year. It is called Social Media Marketing World. Okay. So I just got off of that. We work all in social media, so it was very important for me to go. Yes. And it was amazing. I loved it. So I just came off of that. And you gave me a really good compliment about, our social media. I just want to address that like I have a team of people. So I'll send a picture to Rachel, or prior to Rachel, it was Jessica. And I'm like, here's my picture. And they are the ones that are making it happen. So I can't take the credit for that. I really don't want to. I mean, they're just so good. And I'm very fortunate to have them kind of making sure so that I can go to these conferences. So I do have some takeaways for people about social media if you'd like me to share them.
That was what I was going to say. Like, share with us, some social media tips you got there that are maybe trending that we can implement right away, because, hey, we're all trying to gear up and leverage our social media in any way we can.
So, okay, the big topic was obviously Facebook. Not to knock on Facebook. Facebook is a business, y'all. And so if you think that you're going to get in there and play without paying any money, I mean, just think about it, what it takes you to run your business. It takes costs. So that's why, it's becoming that. Facebook groups are obviously a big deal because you can actually create community there. What typically tends to happen in a Facebook group is that people feel more comfortable having that dialogue with each other. And we see that. You have your group, I have my group. I'll ask questions, or people will ask questions, and that's just not something that happens on a Facebook page, right?
Oh, it's so hard.
It's because, we're just like, oh, I don't want everybody and their mom to see my question about, this. So if you have a Facebook group, it actually creates that community. It really kind of, we use it a lot to support marketing and advertising related topics and trends and stuff like that too. But people will come in there. The other day somebody was looking for, a suggestion for an app or something like that. So I just kind of back off and let the community, help each other out.
Yes.
So Facebook groups are kind of all the rage. Let's see. This influencer and affiliate marketing, if that is of interest to you, there are a lot of programs that you can educate yourself on for it. I think that that's a really big thing. We don't do that here because we're an ad agency and we kind of have to stay transparent, on that. But I know that that's a lot of what military spouses are about. Let's set up this influencer campaign or affiliate campaign. And it's a really great way. I know people who make six figures, like, get in that, and that's something you can do from home. Like,
yes.
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
Some of the other trends or topics of discussions were these chat bots. So I know that Kayla Roof uses it, and I've talked to her a lot about it, where you would communicate with her brand via Messenger, Facebook Messenger, and she'll, set up. Yeah, and she'll set up that sequence. I've seen hers, and I've seen a couple other people how they use it, but it's basically like the new email capture, right? So now you have that person 100% interested in your workbook or your class or your whatever that it is that you're doing, and you can remarket to them because they've said, yes, I want the information or whatnot. So I have a hard time with anything automated because I'm very into like personal connections.
Yeah.
But I also get it. I think that from a time management perspective, you could set up that stuff on your end. So
and we can't be available all the time, right? Like you wear so many different hats, and you talked about this earlier. People hire other people to do their social media and stuff because they really need to work on what they're supposed to be doing. So if you're doing that, you don't have time to consistently be doing that. So I'm going to look into chatbots because I need to do that in my life.
Kayla does a really good job at that. And I mean, I know she is like friggin' superstar. So definitely reach out to her. I have not manually done that yet, but they did like a couple demonstrations during the conference. And so we got to like walk through it. My big takeaways, for anybody, if they're addressing social media, whether you go to a conference or anything, is, really just being intentional with your social media. And we've kicked this around too, like having fun with it. It does not have to be a burden. People want to do business with people, not a logo. Like, I don't know what your logo means, Mr. Walmart, but then I see like, oh, here are all the things you do or whatever. That might not be a good example, but you get what I mean. Like, we want to do business with people. I mean, that's why we're very personal in our social media, because that's the relationship. Like, people feel like they've gotten to know us a little bit, and it helps in that decision process. So My tips for any business owner, whether you're military, whether you're not military, but especially if you're military, is to sit down and please just create a content calendar for yourself. It is, I know it's a burden. I mean, you really just have to kind of schedule out a couple hours and go, what do I want to do? What do I sell? Who do I do that for? Who would I do it to? What's my demographic? What age group? And then you can even go, you know what? These people aren't on Facebook. They're on Instagram. So you can cut out platforms that don't make any sense for you. Or maybe they're on LinkedIn because you're B2B, right? Yeah. So, business owners are on LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn.
Forget about that.
LinkedIn's my favorite, favorite.
Yeah. Mine is Instagram, and I think that's just because I'm a visual person, but I get so many messages on Instagram. And I have one of my clients on Instagram, which is like crazy. But I get a lot of referrals from Instagram and stuff like that too. But the actually having the content itself explains what the intention is. And I think that can be overwhelming to some people because they don't.
I wish we could have pulled somebody in and like had them just say, yes, here's my business. And then you and I could have been like, okay, cool. Here's what you do. Because our industries will we drive in our lanes next to each other, right? Yeah. And sometimes we need to merge because I need content from you and you need content from me. And we need to know what everybody's doing. So content, don't be afraid of the word content. It really just means what's your strategy to get the message out there? Yeah. No one wants to buy anything. I don't want to be sold to. I want to decide when I want to buy. So in that process, can I develop a relationship? Is there something about your company that makes you different? Do you donate to the Bull Mastiff Rescuers, Inc.? Well, now you have my attention. Or maybe you do something for United Way or an organization that, okay, I support that organization too. Wow, now we have something in common. Right. So, so I think just addressing that and looking at if you have staff or if you have an employee or an admin person, highlighting them too, it makes them feel good.
Yeah. I think people forget all they think social media is for is to sell stuff.
And it's okay to repost something from 6 months ago. That's fine.
Yes, that's recycle.
No one's going to get upset with you because you posted a graphic in fact, you can say, hey, I posted this 6 months ago. Here's something that's changed since then, and you can elaborate on it. Yes. Please don't feel like you have to reinvent the wheel every time. Stick with what you know, what you're good at. The other one is I absolutely advocate to schedule an appointment for yourself to make sure that your social media is in. And so we'll see people frantically posting because, oh my gosh, it's been 2 days since I posted, so I know I need to post something. So it's not well thought out. The hashtag, the symbol isn't properly highlighting the company that you're trying to tag. Yeah. There's hashtags all over Facebook. That's not what Facebook is for.
No, I don't understand. Where did that come from?
Just use one or two max. That's all you need to do. Don't, I think because of the Instagram allows you to cross post. So people say,
crosses over. Yeah.
Yeah. But just do that and then go to that post and just delete out all the hashtags. Keep the, if you really want to keep the post, but Facebook wasn't developed for those hashtags. Yeah. And then continuously audit. So this is something we do internally. And I know it's hard because you have to have those hard discussions with yourself. Where I thought our demographic was is not how it is now. So, you have to constantly audit and look at what's working and what's not. We are actually going to onboard a new CRM system because we need to track those leads, right? And it's something that, is super important. As I go to networking events, I need to know how many connections and, leads I've made from that event, right?
Yeah.
So those are kind of my tips is really sit down and create that content calendar. If you need help with that, you can always reach out to my team. Yeah. Schedule the social media. I definitely recommend scheduling all Facebook posts directly within Facebook. Facebook doesn't like when you have a third-party buffer or anything like that.
Right.
And you can pre-schedule your Facebook group posts as well. So you can just do that directly within Facebook. And then continuously audit. So once or twice a month, look at your numbers, look at your insights, and really understand what that's doing for you. We have more female followers on our Facebook page, but more male followers on our Instagram. So our language is going to be a little different.
Yeah.
I might use the word bro when I go to Instagram or what. whatever that looks like.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, use the tools that you have. Like you said, there's insights. Like,
Yes.
it's already created. All you have to do is pull it up, copy and put it on your spreadsheet and compare it and see what's happening from month to month, see where you're at. Very, very simple and amazing tips. I love them.
I actually learned, so this was a really cool thing, and I don't think I can share my screen with you, but huh?
I was just going to say you can download it as well into a spreadsheet, can't you?
You can, yes, you can export.
Yeah.
But if you go to your Instagram, so I'm going to like walk everybody through this real quick. So I'm in Instagram, right? And then you go to the little like bars that looks analytics, like the little analytics function. And I'll show the screen. So that little like bar graph right next to Germono ads, that's what you click on. And then when you click on it, it's going to show you all your insights, right? Yeah. And so what I love is if you go all the way down to the bottom, it's going to say posts. And if you click on see more, you can actually sort that. You can tell it what date, you can tell it whether you want to sort it by impressions. I love to sort, so instead of, you just click on it, instead of a year, I think it defaults to a year. I like to sort within the past 30 days. And then I just kind of like will toggle through, and then I want to see engagement. And so when I apply those filters, I can actually see of the past 30 days, which of my Instagram posts created more engagement. And that's what you want. That's the gem, that's the juice, that's the secret sauce, whatever your fancy word is. So if you're running a business and you're running an Instagram, you should absolutely go in there. And then if you see that people are engaging, like my top one last month was a really good girlfriend of mine. We met for coffee. And so everybody was loving that. And it's nothing to do with marketing and advertising, but it's authentic. Yeah.
Yeah, mine is, I just looked at mine. So mine is this one from my new app. Well, I hired my daughter to run this military life apps. So I hired her. I said, this is your jam. This is what you do. I taught her how to make the editorial. I taught her how to come up with the content. And so she's starting to take over that. And so I'm teaching her all of those. So yeah, it's good to have, like, you're sharing a wealth of knowledge. Some people don't even know there are schedulers. Yes, believe it or not, hadn't.
Yes.
I'm like talking to my friend. And I said, wait a minute, you're going on all of this. And she's like, yeah, and I just copy, and then I go to Instagram and I just copy. Oh. I'm like, oh my gosh, why are you doing that to yourself? Mm-hmm. So I shared that information with her. And I just feel like even people just getting new into our space, remember when we were just new, we didn't know there was all this stuff. And it was just so eye-opening that all these systems are available to us.
And a lot of them are no charge. Like Hootsuite, I think you can develop up to like 3 feeds and use it for free. I mean, there's so many unpaid ones, but even if you do get the ones that cost, I mean, it's still not a lot of money, considering all the things that it does. What do you guys use?
I use, right now I'm using SmarterQ.
Okay.
And that's because I like to evergreen a lot of material, and I like to share a lot of articles. Like you said, because the engagement is important. So I'm using that right now. What are you guys using?
Hootsuite.
Okay. I didn't like it.
Yeah. Some people are you either love it or hate it. I've always loved it. The team likes it. It did get some issues when it was when they announced that they would auto post Instagram. Yeah. We actually had to like pull back because the other term that I learned at the conference is it's called post and ghost, meaning you post and then you ghost out and you go to your next task. But stay in the feed. Like, don't just leave, because you want to interact with other people that are posting around that time too.
Don't post and ghost.
Don't post and ghost. Stay in there. So if you have it, so Hootsuite or whatever the automated platform is, it will trigger like a notification. I actually like the notification still, because then it keeps me in the platform, right? Like I have to post it, okay, copies and pastes all the stuff, cool. But then I hang out in there, or my team does, whoever's posting at that time. So that way we can start engaging with others that are in our newsfeed, because Instagram also has the same algorithm that Facebook does, where it's not going to populate every single thing in your feed. It's only going to populate things that have high engagement or that it thinks is important. And we're talking about a computer system here. So
I know.
Yeah, don't post and ghost.
Don't post and
Don't
go.
post and ghost.
Well, awesome. I think that I think those tips are invaluable, and I love that you shared, especially coming off of being at that conference and sharing a lot of the information. Sometimes we just don't know that those things are happening. So, and you were saying if you can go next year, go. It was actually amazing. So,
And I am a big believer in, we won't always all be in the military. I'm speaking to the younger, newer military wives as well. You won't always be in the military. So keep your identity, network off base, find a chamber of commerce, find a local a business organization that you can just say, I want to attend some meetings, go to the conferences. Sometimes we can get too military centric, right? Like I can't be at everything, and it's not advantageous for me either to do that. So mix in the things that are not military oriented. I know it seems scary because you're new, you're the new person. Grab a buddy, find somebody on base and say, hey, will you come to this event with me? I mean, you'll meet so many great businesses that also want to do business with you if you get off base.
yes, beyond the base.
Yes.
Walls is what I call it.
How is your base? Does your base have where you are, you're in Maryland, right?
Yeah.
So you guys have all the stuff, Chamber of Commerce and stuff like that too.
Yes, and that's how I first started. When I first started my business, that's what I did. I had no military clients. Everybody was non-military. And then the more I dug into the space and the Mill Spouse Creative, that's how I really started to work with a lot more military brands. But 75% of my clients are not military.
Yeah, but that's good because I think it's good for us just to kind of remember that, there are other businesses out there that also want to buy from you. And I think that, like, when I say I'm Lindsey Germono, I've been MBA, I own an agency, I love travel, I love dogs, all this stuff. And then I say I'm a military spouse. It actually legitimizes, my skill set, my interests. And then I'm a military spouse. I mean, I'm a military spouse because I fell in love with somebody who happens to be in the military. It wasn't my decision.
Yeah. I actually just updated my About Me section, which is crazy because I've never had an About Me section, but I did it today and I put military spouse as like my second to last bullet because it is such a big part of my identity, but it's not why I exist and it's not where I'm going, right? So eventually we're going to have to retire, and then what's going to happen,
Right.
So yeah, I totally, elevator speech, keep military spouse to the end, honey. People they get confused. They're like, okay, so you just stay home and eat bonbons or do multi-level marketing. Oh my gosh.
We just have another podcast episode about that. Like, we are,
I feel like
stop it.
you don't understand that, like, we do things too.
But I'm very lucky because, like I said before, I can go to, after my husband, circling back to Spain when he left, I took a space day to Spain all by myself. I found where they had Wi-Fi. I tapped in on base, and I was able to work while I was traveling. And I went by myself. I didn't know anybody. I went
drinking some wine though.
Oh, I drank a couple. Well, actually, this is kind of funny. Not really, but like I made sure I was in my hotel room by a certain time because I felt like because I was by myself, I didn't want to be at the club. And those folks stay up until like 4 a.m. They go hard.
Yes, they go hard.
They go really hard. And I'm like, I can't do that. So I actually made a choice. Like, I'll do all my activities and stuff during the day. I'll have my wine at lunch. And then, I'm just making sure I'm safe. Like, and because I didn't want to be a target and I was by myself. So I didn't want to be in an environment where like something, happened to me or whatever. And I just, I would make sure I was home, but I was so exhausted from all the activities that I was doing anyway, that I just would like pass out at 9 o'clock at night. So.
Oh, I love it. Well, so you are quite.
So we celebrate that, as a military spouse, celebrate the things that you can do. Like, how many people looked at me and they're like, how do you get to go on these trips? I'm like, I work really hard to do that. So.
Yeah. We work hard and we got that ID card, honey.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool. I'm so glad we got some time to spend with you, get to know a lot about you. We went down a lot of awesome rabbit holes that I think were so informational and valuable. And I want to get to our fast round. So this is just kind of a fun round to get to know a little bit more about you. So Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts?
Dunkin' Donuts.
Really?
Yes. Oh, Starbucks is like drinking tar. Sorry, Starbucks. I love
going to get so many comments about this.
Starbucks, I love your tea though, the Zen tea. I do love that. And I will drink a flat white. That's my, if I'm going to have Starbucks, I'll drink the flat white. But no Dunkin', just coffee, because I drink my coffee black.
Yeah.
I feel like Dunkin' Donuts tastes better.
TV does the work, okay. Target or Walmart?
Target.
Yes, I know we talked about that earlier.
That's me.
Girl, some Targets have Starbucks, and that's like my best. Like, we'll be like, let's just meet and just drink coffee and walk down the Target aisles and spend ridiculous amounts of money for no reason. But, okay. MAC or Maybelline?
Oh, MAC. I probably have more MAC stuff. My younger sister is a makeup artist. So I probably just have more MAC stuff from her. Although she does, her makeup is, really extra, and I'm very like minimal with mine. So but I'd still probably say MAC. I have more MAC stuff than Maybelline.
And Pinot or Merlot?
Merlot.
Oh, you like the red wine?
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, well, tell us where we can find you. If you have anything going on, if we're launching anything, how can we connect with you?
All right. If you think so my company name is Germono. My name is Lindsey Germono. And the best way to find that, if you just Google and you think of germs and they're kind of icky, like, oh no. So if you spell out germ, O-N-O, that's how you find my company, Germono. And it's just germono.com. We love to engage with our followers. We have a closed Facebook group for the podcast, Drop and Give Me 20, so you can absolutely connect with us there. What do we have going on? We are doing a lot of social media audits. So if you just feel stuck and you need somebody to help you audit what you're currently doing, definitely reach out to us. My team will love to help you. And then we are doing a lot of like social media 101. So if you just feel like, I don't really understand what Moni and Lindsey are saying about insights, like, what do they mean? Then just, set up a session with me. We do that virtually like this. And we can kind of walk you through like social media 101 just to help equip you with, what you need to do. And then we will create custom social media content calendars as well. So if you just, need help writing that out, my team can assist you with that. I don't know. I have so many things going on. We are always looking for, to expand the team. So if you love social media enough that you can show others how to do it, please contact me, send in your resume. I'm always looking to expand my team. We're all over, so you don't have to be in Virginia. I have employees in Florida, Tennessee. I mean, it's really great to be able to do that. So please contact me if you're looking for a position. If you love social media, then you would be a good fit for us.
Wow, awesome. Well, I'm excited. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know you are out there crushing it, and I appreciate you popping in and doing another interview with our community and sharing some insight about social media. And you guys make sure you reach out to Lindsey, let her know what you loved about this, if her tips were helpful, and reach out to her if you need to get those audits done, and just say hi, right?
Yes.
The most thing we could do for each other is just show up and support each other. And you guys, thank you for logging in for another MilSpouse Crushing Influencer interview, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you, Moni.